Okay, today I would like to inform you all about orcas in captivity, but before starting I want to warn you all that the information I'm about to share is quite graphic. Let's first start out by looking at these two pictures. On the left you can see a mother and a child orca, and on the right you can see a missing persons poster from a little girl missing. You may not think that these two images have anything in common, but what if I suggested that this one was a before and this one was an after? You may think, did the mother notice that her child was missing? Let me fill in some pieces. On the left, SeaWorld sold the child orca to make money, and the mother was in extreme distress after. According to Lori Cuthbert and Douglas Main, two editors for National Geographic, orcas live complex emotional lives, so you can see that the mother was in distress, but you may not fully believe it. Let me show you this image in the headline from the National Geographic post that we had. As you can see, the mother was mourning her dead calf for 17 days, an extreme period of time. After heavily researching orcas in captivity, as well as watching Blackfish, I feel that I'm qualified and also obligated to share the things that I found with you all. Today I will persuade you that keeping orcas in captivity is wrong and inhumane. I will do so by starting out by explaining facility inadequacy, followed by social isolation, and ending with dissecting the pro-captivity side. To start, we must explore facility inadequacy, specifically medical care, or rather lack thereof. Suzanne Au, a former video supervisor of Laurel Park, which was an aquatic mammal facility, described conditions of the park. She said that the pools, as well as the trainers, were not ready to receive the orcas, but the park did so anyway in an effort of capitalism. She said that the pools caused stomach and teeth problems, and that the higher-ups knew about both of these things. However, they still ran the park to make money. Sam H. Ridgway, who was a member of the Biosciences Department at the Naval Ocean Systems Center in San Diego, California, described that an orca that died in captivity after a gunshot in the wild due to trapping. He also said that in the 6 years of captivity that there was no medical procedure put onto this orca. However, if they do have a veterinarian on payroll, wouldn't you think that they would notice an abscess forming before it died over a period of 6 years? It's also important to acknowledge the visitors of Sealand of the Pacific. Corrine and Caldwell, Nutting, and Callan, who were filmed in Blackfish, also described the conditions of the tourist park. They said that it looked like an amusement park on its last leg and was gray and had a dingy pool. If we keep our orcas in this inadequate condition, what message does this send about respecting our wildlife? We should also consider social isolation. Orcas are extremely social and emotional creatures. They value their families and their groups, so removing them from this environment is wrong. Save the Whales, which was a nonprofit in California founded in 1977 by a mother-daughter activist team, the Marises. The co-founder, Maris Seidenstecker, accounts a trip to San Juan Islands, where she got to see orcas in the wild up close and personal. She even spent 28 hours consecutively with these orcas. She said that she came to an understanding that orcas' lives revolve around their family units, and they're only separated from their families through death or capture. Let's go back to the image of the mother and child. So SeaWorld sold the child to make money. When SeaWorld former trainer described that business executives brought in audiologists to review these sounds, and they were described as long-range vocals, the mother's attempt to find her child even though it was not in the same pool. We can think that that was the same effort and equivalent to the human mother showing the poster of her missing child. The only interaction that these social creatures have is with trainers for show, which they are only making for profit. So they aren't even interacting with other mammals of their species. Imagine what that's like. So far I have discussed inhumane conditions of tourism parks. Now we must examine how these parks market themselves and make an argument based off that. You can read this description from SeaWorld's website with the highlight emphases on care, natural orca behaviors, and inspiring to care more profoundly for these creatures. Care, let's break them down piece by piece. Care, we already saw that there was poor medical conditions and inadequate facilities. I don't think that constitutes as care. For natural behaviors, we know that they're strong emotional creatures that also value family units. Does social isolation really involve their natural orca behaviors or tendencies? Specifically focusing on the inspiration to care, Jeffrey Ventre and John Jett, former SeaWorld orca trainers for many years, wrote a piece in an Animal and Tourism book and described that amusement parks do routinely exhibit human superiority over killer whales in their care. If SeaWorld is supposed to lead by example to teach children, is it actually humane or moral that they exert human superiority over these orcas? If you want to inspire caring, teach the care. If you want to teach respect, inspire by showing respect. These are just a couple of things that I think, but also the facts lead to. So feeding into this propaganda as a whole is not the answer. Overall, today I've talked about the inadequacy of the facilities as well as social isolation brought on by captivity. Also dissecting this, which is shown by SeaWorld, but there's many other propaganda out there. It's not enough to just listen to this speech. You must not feed into the capitalism of these tourist parks or believe the things that they put out there, as most of them are distorted facts. To leave you all with some food for thought, how would you feel if you were taken from your family, or more importantly, your child was taken from you, to live a life inhumane, rationing of food, getting maltreated and abused by other animals in the facility? All of these horrific things are things that orcas go through daily, and I hope that no one will ever have to experience, and I hope that orcas will soon be free of this as well.